Hello, anime Reflux. I was gonna do a gag where I sing the intro and then change the lyrics to something like, I don't know, this song's stuck in your head now, so go fuck yourselves, everyone, or something like that. That was what I was gonna do, but that would require me actually listening to the theme song of this show, and that would be a bad idea, because it
Da
is
da da
it is
da
quite
da da da
possibly
da da
the
da
most
da.
catchy thing I have ever heard, and it almost caused me to fail a project in university because it got that stuck in my head. I couldn't think of anything else. Not exaggerating in the slightest. That happened. Um, yeah, so the show we're doing this week is Neon Genesis Evangelion. The One. The Thing.
When are we gonna get the very very accurate Netflix adaptation with live action characters?
Usually the Netflix adaptation thing is like a lot of the time it looks kind of like an insult to the source material because they botch it so horribly so often. In this case, I feel like it wouldn't really matter because the show's garbage in the first place, so it's fine. Do whatever you want.
You have very strong feelings
I
against the
am not
show.
going to be kind to this show. I don't know whether that was clear. So yeah, this show is what we call a deconstruction. It is a phenomenon where the tropes of a certain genre or style of show, in this case, mecha anime or you know series, what have you, um, when they get so entrenched that they become boring, and someone decides, I'm going to shake things up by turning all this shit on its head and do different things with it.
Mm-hmm.
It started out as that, and it did quite a good job in the beginning. I will give it that much. That, for the most part, it did a good job of turning things on the heads. Like, hey, kid, you have to get in this giant robot and fight monsters. I don't fucking want to do that. Are you crazy? Why the hell would I want to do that? Is probably a more accurate reaction than, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Totally. Down for it. I'm a born and bred hero, I guess, because I'm going to jump into life risking activities and fight in what is effectively a war zone in a giant suit where I will be incredibly claustrophobic because I can't move and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, okay. Playing things a little more realistically. Fine. Good. Good job. This was. That's a good start. That's. I pretty much summarized the most of the first episode. Kid gets called to a town. It is literally a war zone where UN troops are a thing in this universe. Are fighting a giant monster that shrugs off literally everything that they do. And he gets picked up by a pretty lady, and they have some weird, semi flirty dialogue that's probably not entirely serious. And they get caught in a giant explosion from the UN's last ditch effort to try and destroy the thing, and it doesn't work because, they're not the protagonists. And so, yeah, the kid, Shinji, everyone knows who he is. He goes to this secret base and gets told by his dad, you have to get in this robot and fight this giant monster, or this other girl who is incredibly injured from already having done this sort of thing before, she's going to have to do it instead. And she'll probably die.
Get in the robot, Shinji.
Yep. I forgot that was an actual line. uh, yeah, I thought that was just a parody thing. That is actually a line in the show. I didn't realize. because it's been parodied so fucking hard by anyone that talks about the show. Yeah. So he gets basically guilt tripped into doing this, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And he gets in the robot, it quickly fills with a liquid, and he thinks he's going to drown, and then when he complains that he might be sick, they tell him to stop bitching because he's a boy, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then they launch him to go fight the thing, and that's the end of the episode. Okay, that's the summary. Cool. So, like I said, as a start, this is pretty fucking good. It is a deconstruction of mecha anime tropes where there is a chosen hero that, you know, has to do the thing, and he's all for it, and he goes out and he saves the day. In this case, no, he is technically a chosen hero. There are other people, but they're not exactly as good as he would be. And he doesn't want to do it at all. Yeah, which...
It goes against the kind of standard sort of hero you would get in a mecha anime, in which they jump in the robot with before anyone even tells them to, or they're told not to go in the robot and they do it anyways, and then they save the day.
Yep. So, for this first episode, this is actually very good. However, and this might be where Casey starts going on a bit of a ranty rant, as he tends to do on occasion. Hasn't done it in a while, actually, I will note. I don't think I've actually done a ranty rant in a while. But, yeah. At some point down the line in this show, the creator, the director, I forget what his name is, but someone could probably tell me, but I honestly don't care. He decides he's doing a thing. And somehow, a lot of people agree that he is doing a thing. He is, in fact, not doing a thing. Let me clarify that, because that didn't actually mean anything. So,
yeah, no, that meant nothing whatsoever.
Yeah. He is a very good director. He has very sharp instincts in how to do certain things and evoke mood, and all that is fantastic. Like, people will talk about that really, really long still shot of nothing happening and stuff. That, if you let yourself be taken out of the moment, it is terrible. If you are engaged with what's happening, it's actually quite profound. The fact that there is a debate about how effective it is says how effective it is in actually keeping the viewer engaged. But for the people that it manages to hook like that, it is very profound and well done. That being said, the director thinks he is actually saying something with all of the symbolism he uses in the background of the show, which is literally just bargain bin Christian symbolism from start to finish. And it doesn't really say anything particularly interesting about said symbolism, about said religious iconography, or anything like that. But by comparison to what a lot of other series do, particularly anime is what I mean, where they tend to just chuck everything in from every possible mythology or religion or what have you, and just smash it all together and just let it wash over the audience. Because he chose to just stick with one thing, it almost seems like he's trying to accomplish something with it.
There's some amount of consistency, which leads you to believe that there is some sort of overarching theme or message that he's trying to get across.
There is not. It is all just, I won't say it's surface level. I will say it is incoherent. There is no consistent idea that it actually seems to be getting across. If there was something he was trying to get across, he failed at that. That is my opinion on this show. A lot of the more surface level storytelling is quite good, but everyone dry humps this show for the symbolism, and it has not earned that.
A long time ago, because everybody recommended it, I watched several episodes of this show. I never actually finished. And granted, I was a lot younger, so I had a different mindset. So when I looked at Shinji and him being forced into the robot, my brain didn't go, "Oh, this is some great deconstruction." It's just like I didn't really want to watch this pathetic kid,
Yeah.
and that was my impression. And even going forward, it's like I can appreciate the deconstruction now, but it's also like it feels from like I've never wanted to go back to go watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's many things, but a lot of the major plot points in Evangelion have been spoiled to me over the years, just through people casually mentioning it, and honestly, none of it has really drawn me in to really want to go and see it.
Yeah. It's an unpleasant watch from, I won't say from start to finish, I'd say about halfway through the anime, because there is a film that finishes it off and like fucking whatever. Yeah, it's unpleasant. It's not fun. It is artsy, is what I will call it. It has, I won't even call it that. It has pretensions of being artsy. And it doesn't quite get to actually being, because like I say, it doesn't get there. It's doing things against the standard conventions of the genre, mostly to do things against the standard conventions of the genre. And that's valid. That's valid to do that. That's a fair thing to do, to try and move that particular genre forward and change up how things are done and vary, once shows just start doing the same thing for every single one of them, there's no point anymore. It's saturated, it gets just ignored, and that's how genres tend to die temporarily. So this sort of thing is healthy. But yeah, the greater pretensions of trying to do something more with theme and symbolism did not work. And that's probably why I am admittedly unfairly angry at this show, because people bought into the hype so fucking much. So yeah, that is my ranty rant on this show.
Patient, you got anything you'd like to say? What were your thoughts?
I actually didn't get a chance to watch it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that little cathartic rant out of the way, let's actually judge this show a little more fairly, shall we?
I think, as far as episode 1 goes, it's a solid first episode. It sets up where the series is going to go. It sets up the tone that it's taking with piloting this robot. It is not a pleasant thing, and that's the intention.
Yeah. It lets you know what you're getting into right off the bat, which is a good thing. Undeniably, that is what you want out of a first episode of a show, is for it to say, hey, this is what you can expect. If you don't like it, get the fuck out now.
Exactly. And, for me, obviously, all I've heard over the years is that, the entirety of this show is just miserable to watch.
I would disagree with that, surprisingly. There is a good stretch from, let's say, episode 3 to somewhere in the middle, where everything seems to start to even out and things start to go right. And then it turns right back to what episode 1 promised, which is everything going wrong and everything being miserable.
I think the mangaka or something was depressed while he was making this series.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that very much shows in the work. I do genuinely like the idea of get in the robot. No, but get in the robot right now. No, because every other 14-year-old boy would be like, yeah, but he realizes, it's treated very seriously of you're going out to go and be a soldier and to possibly die, and if you don't go out there to possibly die with no training or experience, they will shove this nearly dead girl in there to go die for you.
Yep.
And that, again, it's a deconstruction. That sort of deconstruction I really appreciate in my shows, at least nowadays. It's why, for example, I was a big fan of ReZero, was because you don't have any special powers, but you can come back if you die. So you're going to fail until you eventually succeed. And turning that into sort of a misery horror type of story that also dug deep into the core of the character and helped that character to eventually develop. But whereas that feels like a more... Yeah?
I feel like you're missing part of the process there for deconstructions. Is I remember why you like ReZero. Because you read so many bargain bin, garbage, trash heap isekai stories that you were burned the fuck out on the genre.
Yeah. That's
that
also
is why
very
you
important.
liked it. Because it was a complete upheaval of all the things you got sick of, and that must have been so cathartic for you. I imagine that's probably why this show was so beloved back in the day, because at the time we had fucking Gundam, we had Voltron, all that kind of shit, and it was all basically the same, or getting that way. That's the kind of mindset you need to really enjoy deconstruction, or you have to like misery.
Yes. And I've watched some mecha anime, but I've never been really super into the genre. And I like giant robots, but it's never really something that I tend to focus on. So I know I can't appreciate the deconstruction to the fullest extent. That's why I said when I was younger, I fell off the show. It didn't seem that really special to me, I suppose. I just kind of got bored of it at one point. I was like, I don't really want to watch another episode. I didn't make it to that halfway point where it turns into misery again. And that probably contributed. This is a show for a very specific group of people. And as you're saying, Casey, it seems like it doesn't succeed in the symbolism and in whatever message it is attempting to or pretending to get across. For all you know, the message could be that there is no message. Ha! It's a lie. Everything's meaningless.
Considering how nihilistic the show is, it would not surprise me.
So,
But if that's the case, Nier Automata did it better. It's not a fair comparison because this show came out of the 90s, but it did. And that
Yoko Taro does nihilism better. Just in general.
Yeah, he's very he knows his niche. Yeah.
When are we gonna get Zac Efron as Shinji?
You said when you watch the show. You want to know when I watched the show?
When?
I was at university. I might have told this story before on the podcast, I think. I was at university, and I was in my second year, I want to say. It's not particularly important, but, details. And I went to Subway, as I tended to do, because I was a university student, and they eat fast food like motherfuckers. So, yeah, it was empty, except for me and that one guy, running the store at that point.
Yeah.
No other staff. It was kind of weird. But he was there, bearded dude, pretty hipstery kind of vibe. And we got to talking because I honestly don't know why, because I'm not exactly a conversational person in person. And he's like, you need to check out this show, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm like, okay, what is it? And he's like, it's an anime. And I'm like, I've never watched anime. I'm not really... He's like, no, seriously, you should watch it. It's amazing. It will change your life. I'm like, okay. So I Google it, and I find a site where I can watch it. That was the night where the theme song got stuck in my head. And I binge watched it, basically. I finally got that assignment done, lucky me, and then I binge watched it. And I kind of wanted to punch the guy when I got to episode 25 or 6, or whichever one is the last one, because, hoo boy, that was a whole other problem that we don't really need to get into. Director was also a bad manager in terms of the project. It went massively over budget, so couldn't actually finish the show. So, yeah, I watched that and was angry at all anime and was like, there has to be something better than this. And that's how I got into anime, out of spite for Neon Genesis Evangelion.
A moving story.
Indeed. Christ.
I think we should roll a new one.
But yeah, my point was, yeah, I came into the show from the exact... Well, not the exact opposite, but... Yeah, the exact opposite point of where the show wanted me to start from. I had not watched anime. I had not watched any giant robot shit. I didn't even watch fucking Power Rangers. I had no context for what this show was deconstructing. And for the most part, I still found it mostly enjoyable until the, director fucked up and ruined the budget and meant the show left unfinished. But, yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part until it did that and turned miserable and said basically nothing in the process. So, yeah, that's that pretty much wraps up our talking about this show forever, hopefully. I don't ever want to hear about this again. Did you watch the films?
No.
No? Yeah. I don't really know what people think of the films.
It's so confusing what the films are supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't actually know. It's an alternate continuity, I know that much, because Asuka's completely different, and there's an entirely new character that I don't even know anything about. that
Why would you make? Oh, I see. You make an alternate continuity so that you don't, so that maybe you actually make a better story. Got it.
Yeah, except in this case, it doesn't seem to be trying to do a deconstruction anymore. Like, the new character is, like, a thrill seeker that does crazy shit and parachutes onto the school, and she's a rock star superhero kind of character. And, okay.
Does she die horribly?
No idea. I haven't watched, like I said. But she seems so out of place in a show like this one that I don't know how that works with the whole deconstruction motif.
You kill her. That's how.
Probably. But I don't know how you would make that tragic. Because she's so against type.
I don't know. One day, yeah, patient.
I almost forgot what I was going to say because you had me off again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just trying to say I'm sort of glad that I didn't see this show if nihilism is that big a part of it. I was a nihilist once. I still have a nihilistic viewpoint. I don't want to go back to that, and I don't very much care for the mindset of it.
Here's the thing. There is a place for nihilism. Because there is a way to see that as a positive. This might not come as a surprise. I don't know. But nihilism means nothing matters. Okay. Nothing matters, but, you know, we're still going to do things because we exist as people that will do things, whether as a natural imperative of being alive or as constructs of things that we just make up whole cloth. Death speech, duty, honor, justice, you know, grind down the universe and find a single grain of any of them and all that stuff. But, you know, those things still exist because we believe they exist, and for no other reason, but that's still a reason, kind of thing. So there is an optimism you can find in nihilism that if nothing matters, then make something that matters, kind of thing.
I do like... Thank you.
So yeah, time to roll.
Who's rolling?
0.
I rolled and we got a 23.
Which is... W?
23 is X, I want to say, because we got numbers at the end. Also, Patient, thank you for posting the picture of Kamina, because the anime I watched immediately after Evangelion was Gurren Lagann, which was too appropriate in hindsight.
The opposite.
Yeah, too appropriate in hindsight, but yeah, really restored my faith in anime and just set me off on a tear. Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, no chance of us getting that one this week.
Oh.
Have we already on this show? No, there it is. I see it right here under T. We still haven't got it. So that's one gem for the future. Presently, however, if we're under X, which we are, 5, 4, 3, no. With numbers at the end, wouldn't that be Y?
That'd be 24 is Y.
The numbers, then Z is 25, Y is 24.
Sorry, I was counting, including the all blocked out Q. Okay, so yeah. 4 X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly 7 options left.
7.
Number 2.
All right. Second from the top is, oh dear,
What do we got?
X-Men.
Yes. Wait.
Yes, wait, which version is it?
I mean,
Post it.
I have to assume it's the X-Men anime. If it's number 2, then it's just X-Men, then it's X-Men anime. So,
Well,
allow me to copy and paste. And the X-Men, you know what X-Men is. It's the same thing. Death of one of their own, the team has stopped operations for a year. Then Professor X receives word of a mutant girl's mysterious disappearance in Japan. Sensing that something larger is afoot, he reassembles the team and sends them to investigate. They uncover a connection between her disappearance and an anti-mutant group known as the U-Men. Oh, that's cute. U-Men, as in human.
The human.
That's cute as fuck.
This came out the same year as X-Men First Class.
Comment says not so bad. Whatever that means.
7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Also, it has a dub for whatever reason.
Sure, I'll watch some X-Men versus the U-Men.
Okay. So we're doing X-Men next week. Cool. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.